Hello everyone, my name's Sasha. I work for Off the Record as a youth mental health practitioner. I'm also an art therapist and I really love drawing and making art. I decided to put a few videos together to show you all how to experiment with some art making, how to do drawing in a few ways that you might not have tried before, or how to try out printmaking. Before you switch off and think, no, I can't do art, art's not my thing, I can't draw, everything I make looks rubbish. I just want you to know that I've made these videos for all abilities and for everybody in mind, and there's not going to be any pressure to make anything that looks good. I've deliberately done them so they're accessible to everybody. It's my hope that during these strange coronavirus times that we're living through, that these videos will just give you something else to do, something to occupy yourself, but also that it might be, that they might really benefit your mental health, because art is known to have huge benefits on mental health. It can be very relaxing and can also help you be very mindful, and can also be just something else to do that can get you away from screens. I think we can all spend a lot of time on Netflix and social media and on our phones and computers, but it can just be a nice way of doing something that's away from the screen as well. And the final thing I wanted to say is that I'm going to try my best to do videos that are suitable for people that might not make lots of art, and therefore I've tried to put together videos that you could do with the stuff that you've already got at home. So yeah, I hope you enjoy them, and without further ado, let's get started on the first video, which is all going to be about experimental drawing. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is what you're going to need for this particular drawing activity. So the very basics you're going to need is you're going to need a pen, a pencil, or anything that makes a mark. So that could be anything you can find, from a biro to a really nice art pen or a highlighter, literally anything you can find. You're also going to need some paper. This doesn't have to be fancy art paper, it can be printer paper, it could even be the back of an envelope that you've got lying around, or just some scraps. Ideally, if you've got it, we're going to make some backgrounds first, and for that you're going to want some drawing ink. So if you've got that, that's great, but if not, I'm also going to show you how you can create some backgrounds with just acrylic paint or any kind of paint that you've got. You probably want to protect your surface area. I've just used a piece of paper, but you can use newspaper, or you could use a tablecloth. And finally, again, not essential, but if you've got it, to create some backgrounds, you're going to want a pot of water. You could just use a bowl, and you're also going to maybe want to use some brushes. Okay, let's go and make some backgrounds. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to make some interesting backgrounds. I think this can be really helpful because sometimes when you're faced with a blank sheet of paper, it can look actually quite intimidating, especially if you're not used to making art. I think just getting splashes of colour down on a page can really help the creative process. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a brush and a pot of water. I'm going to cover my page with some ink, like so. And then I'm just going to get my ink and just pouring it in the lid to do this, and then I'm just going to splash it on. I'm just going to automatically start making some quite cool patterns. If you don't have drawing ink, I'm just going to show you how you can create a similar effect with acrylic paints. So again, I'm just going to cover my page in water, and then I'm going to get some acrylic paint and I'm going to put it in my water. Just kind of mix that in. and then I'm going to splash that on. And leave that to dry. I forgot to say that if you don't have any paints or inks, you can also just use crayons or even a HB pencil to just do a bit of scribbling on a piece of paper and get some interesting backgrounds and textures into your work that way. So you can use the pencils together, or you can cover large areas with nice big chunky bits of colour like that. My backgrounds have now dried, and I just wanted to show them you before we go into part 2 of this video, which is the experimental drawing. So I've now got all these backgrounds which are going to make much more interesting drawings once I've drawn on top of them. Much more interesting and less intimidating than drawing onto a plain white page. So your next task is to decide what to draw. I've got a bit of an obsession with houseplants, so I've decided to draw some of my plants today. These are some of my favourites, but you could literally draw anything. You could draw a pile of books, you could draw a random object in your house, you could draw a combination of all three, you could even just draw a lamp, or you could draw a scene in your house. So you decide what you want to draw. Try and pick something that interests you, or something that you like, or something that you think will be fun to draw. It might have interesting shapes or colours, for example. So it's nearly time to get drawing. Before we do, I just wanted to say that although my plants have got a background piece of paper behind them, that's not really necessary. I've just put that there to hide the mess that is my house behind the plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to do what is called blind drawing. So blind drawing is when you look at the object that you're drawing for 100% of the time and you don't look down at the page to see what your hand is drawing. It's also going to be a continuous line drawing, which means that when I start drawing my plants, I'm not going to take my pencil off the page. So I will record my drawing. What I might do is also time myself. So the first drawing I might just do for 30 seconds because you probably don't want to watch me do a drawing for more time than that. Okay, I'll start now. Okay, so I'm ready to start drawing. I'm going to give myself 30 seconds. I'm not going to look down at my page, and it's going to be one continuous line. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, begin. So I'm just looking at the plants and really quickly getting down the shapes. It's really tempting to look down at my page, but I'm trying not to. I know this isn't going to be the best masterpiece in the world, but it really doesn't matter. It's about having fun. Oh, I've only got 6 seconds left. Let's get the little cactus down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I'm done. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that a couple of times, just for a minute or 30 seconds to kind of get warmed up and loosen up. I'll show you on time-lapse because you don't want to watch me doing that in real time. And then I'm going to do one for a lot longer. I'll probably take 5 or 10 minutes and do it. I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm not going to look down at my page, but I'm going to take a lot more care and time in doing it, and then I'll show you at the end. Okay. My 5-minute drawing, I'm going to do it on top of this piece of paper. It's already got a drawing that I started the other day on here, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to go over the top, and you can try out doing the same thing in yours if you'd like to. Okay, so this is my slightly longer drawing. I'll be really honest, I did find myself cheating a little bit. I think I did glance down possibly once or twice, but that's okay too. Let's just remember it was about playing and being experimental and having fun, so if you want to do the same, that's actually fine. As you can see, the layers are starting to build up and it's starting to look quite interesting. What you can do now, if you're going to give this a go and you want to, is you can go back into your drawing and colour bits in. So I can now go in and colour in these leaves and just start bringing bits of the drawing out. I could add some colour onto my pot. I'm obviously rushing this a bit because you don't want to spend ages watching me draw, but you can take a lot more care and time than I am, but you can get the idea now. You could even add in a bit of background if you wanted to, whatever you fancy really. You could add in some shadows if there's some shadows coming off the plant, or whatever it is you're drawing. And that is how you can start building up a multi-layered blind continuous line drawing. Here's the other ones that were a bit quicker. Okay, so that is the end of the first art video. I hope you enjoyed it and you got something out of it. If you're new to art, it's a great way of getting into it or getting into drawing. And if you're not new to art and you draw quite a lot, it might be useful for you to know, or helpful, that it is actually a technique that's used by a lot of artists and illustrators as a way of warming up and experimenting and getting into their artwork. If you'd like to share your artwork, we have created a hashtag. And it would be fantastic to see everybody's artwork on there, so we can build a bit of community of drawers and artists. And we've created the hashtag OTRCanDraw, and you can also use the hashtag InspirationWorks, which is the umbrella hashtag for a lot of the creative projects that are going on at Off the Record at the moment. But if you don't want to share your art, that's also completely fine. You can make that decision, but we would love to see it if you're happy to share. Okay. Thank you. Bye.